In this video, we're going to be looking at the world of philosophical texts in order to help you find the right version for you. Don't expect a complete overview of all philosophy books that ever existed, but rather, this video is designed for those who may know what they want to read, but want some guidance before they just buy the first thing that pops up on Amazon. Now you may be asking, why do I need a guide to help me find the right version of a text for me? Why don't I just do what you recommended and just go get whatever's on Amazon? Well, philosophy books are a bit complicated due to their age and language. Different translations could lead to drastically different outcomes in your reading. The channel Ian Withy Barry, for instance, has an entire video focusing on different translations of the Tao Te Ching, but it might be cheating to use that text as an example, as it's been subject to many different translations. Regardless, reading experiences for different philosophical texts can strongly differ as a result of the edition or translation. So this guide is going to look at a couple of insights to help you find the edition that's right for you. We should start by mentioning Project Gutenberg at gutenberg.org. Because many philosophical texts are so old, many of them can be found for free here. I haven't taken a copyright law class, so I don't know about all the intricacies about translations as opposed to the original text, but what matters here is that you could come across free versions of some older philosophical texts, which works if you're concerned about your budget. There are some drawbacks, however. For starters, it's not always guaranteed that you'll find what you're looking for, and if you do find the text that you're searching for, it might be a translation that just doesn't appeal to you. Here I searched up books by René Descartes in search of his famous Meditations on First Philosophy. As you can see, we did find a copy, but it isn't in the language that I use. Thankfully, my browser offers a Google Translate of the entire text to English, but obviously this isn't going to be as valuable as a more scholarly translation. Now, assuming money is less of a concern to you, this opens up the door for you for different translations. Now, before you search up what the best translation of a text may be, you may first want to ask yourself what you value out of a translation. For example, if you're more of an experienced reader, maybe you want something close to a word-for-word translation or an accurate translation. If you're not as confident, maybe you should look for an accessible translation. Maybe you might want to start with accessibility, then look for accuracy. Or maybe you want a good mix of both. Once you have an idea of what you're looking for, just take a shot in the good old Google. You might not always find what you're looking for, so play around with the words you use in your search to find at least something. Start taking note of what translations sound appealing based on your search. After this, yes, we are eventually going to be heading over to Amazon. Now, you could use another site to actually buy your copy, but Amazon has a special feature that helps us actually look at the translation itself. Now, you're going to want to do this on desktop, but once you go to the page for a translation you found out about, hit the Look Inside button right above the image of the book. Sometimes you just won't get anything, but other times you'll be able to access the first couple pages of a text, which allows you to compare translations pretty much right then and there to find what reads best for you. Sure, the first pages may not be fully indicative of the rest of the translation, but you gotta take whatever knowledge you can get a hold of. Finally, I want to quickly touch on editions and aesthetics. And I know, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but let's not lie to ourselves here. When you're putting together your physical bookshelf, sometimes, you may want to consider the cover of a book. So there are a handful of companies out there that publish many philosophical texts that you'll definitely run into while looking for your translation. Penguin Classics is the first to come to mind and is pretty iconic for their design. The Black Ponderer on YouTube does videos going over entire texts, and I think he's a big fan of Penguin Classics and even has an aesthetically consistent bookshelf full of them. Me personally though, I haven't really liked Penguin Classic translations, unless they're willing to sponsor me, in which case I love Penguin Classics, as well as the Penguin from Batman, March of the Penguins, but really my thoughts on Penguin reflects just the translations that I've read personally, so it's not a mark on them in general. Another aesthetically consistent company that publishes many philosophical texts is Oxford World Classics. I think I've had better luck with them than Penguin Classics, having really enjoyed my copy of Lucretius's On the Nature of the Universe. I also personally find them more aesthetically pleasing than Penguin, but for a company that puts out high quality translations without the aesthetic appeal, check out Hackett. I use the Hackett edition of Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, and it is one of the best translations I've read of any philosophical text. But yeah, you're losing out on aesthetic value unless you do like solid colors. Before we end this video, I want to give a quick shout out to used bookstores that offer tremendous value and also discovery. You know, I always find it fun to venture into one of these little shops with no expectations to see what they have in the philosophy section. Granted, don't come in with super high hopes or something very specific in mind, but you know, you never know what you'll find. I'm gonna try to keep this video short and sweet because you're a busy person, and with me, law school's kinda getting heavy. But I hope I offered some value or assistance with this video in finding the right edition or translation for you. I love seeing bookshelf tours, so if you want, send me pictures of your book collections to my Instagram. I might do one of those bookshelf tours in the future as well, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, then you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, bell, yeah, you know. And with that, I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day.